So just a little housekeeping before we do dive in, as I'm expecting quite a few more people to log in. Unfortunately, the time difference, I apologize. My Acuity scheduling lagged a few days from realizing that it was in Australia. So when I set this time, anyway, we're here, so it's fine. But I do apologize for any inconvenience that might have caused or confusion. So this will be recorded and put on YouTube. So if there is anybody that doesn't want to share or be seen on video or anything like that, right now, all you can see is my screen on the recording, but I just wanted to pre-frame that just to honor everybody's sacred space and privacy, because this is a special length. So we're going to be diving in for an hour, and I will be opening up the floor to a bit more intimacy and sharing and conversation. So if there is anyone that doesn't want to be seen in that way, please feel free, no judgment. You can keep yourself on mute and not share. You can turn your video off. That's no worries at all. There's no expectation there. This is just your space to rock up, tune in, drop everything and chill, ground, be you. So welcome to that space. I think that's everything. As I said, this is intended to be an hour-long call. You can tap out at any time as well. If you're like, oh, I got something better to do, whatever, feel free. You're not going to be offending me or anything. That's okay. This is a practice ground for you honoring you. So just tune in to those needs as they come up, whether it's going to the bathroom, grabbing a glass of water. But for right now, I really do invite anybody who can to turn their phone on airplane mode, shut the door, get rid of any distractions that might pull you out of a ceremony type feeling space. And yeah, just make sure to keep yourselves on mute unless I call on you to speak. Fingers crossed, I'm in the suburbs right now, so fingers crossed that there's no whippersnippering or lawn mowing or ridiculous noises outside, and we can keep this nice and quiet. Okay, so out of curiosity, who has sat with me in ceremony before, whether it's real life or virtually? Cool. Who has no idea what cacao is and they're just like, well, I don't know. Everybody knows? That's awesome. So just for the YouTubers then, I will give a little pre-frame to what this incredible heart medicine is. So feel free, if you want to, just get it into your system. It doesn't need to be a really rigid or dogmatic practice. Just start sipping away whenever feels good to you. You might like to take a moment, if you do have cacao with you, to pause and really tune in to her. But no matter what, it's getting into your system, and we're already beginning to invoke that essence of cacao in. But I just wanted to quickly speak to the metaphysical aspects of cacao, because a lot of us are really familiar with cacao as an ingredient, whether we bake with it, we drink it, but aside from the physiological benefits of releasing the pleasure hormones through our body, giving us a sense of empathy and comfort, there's also this warming sensation to drop from head to heart. And this is what cacao has been viewed as from the indigenous traditions that have used cacao ritualistically for eons. And they don't drink it or they didn't consume it in the same way that we do now. Oftentimes it was ground down and then blended with cold water and just smashed back. So let's be really grateful for the beautiful different lattes with mushrooms and essential oils that we can have now. But the energetic transference of cacao is all about opening the heart. And so all of the physical benefits that you receive from its nutrients are to support this process in the body, but also on an emotional and energetic level too. So just become curious about your relationship to chocolate, your relationship to cacao if you're drinking it in its more raw form. And as we look back at how we've perhaps used chocolate as a way to feel the way we want to feel, we can start to unpack any of the shame or the judgment or the guilt that we have on ourselves around that relationship. I know for me, I have had a lot of stories around being reliant upon food to give me a feeling that I wanted of safety, of comfort, of security, in times of loneliness or separation. And so it's so cool right now that we have the opportunity to commune together in a virtual space where we physically are apart and isolated or alone, to use an ingredient like this that encourages the opposite, encourages connection, not only to ourselves, but to the greater whole and to others. So if you have any questions about cacao, I'd be more than stoked to answer them toward the end. But to open this now, I would love you all to take a few big, deep breaths down into the belly and start to expand and elongate, lengthen every inhalation and exhalation. And when you feel comfortable to do so, just closing down your eyes. If you are holding a mug of cacao, bring it up to your heart, or you might even rest it down at your womb space, depending on where you need that warmth right now. And I'm going to open this virtual circle in a way that's a little bit different, that I haven't shared in this space before, but it is one of the ways that really resonated with me on my ceremony facilitator training that I attended last year in Bali, with a shaman who has been initiated into the Andean traditions of cosmology, which all might sound super weird to you right now, but it's okay. You're just here for the ride. And so just breathing slowly, gently, deeply into your body, getting curious about what is here for you right now, without needing it to change, without forcing or ushering in something different, just opening the lens to really seeing what is present. You might notice a few little niggling sensations in the body. Maybe you're gripping through the fingers. Maybe the shoulders have creeped up toward your ears. Maybe you're furrowing through the brow. Just bring a sense of relaxation as you breathe in, telling your body now that it is safe. You are safe. And now, being careful with your cup, I'd love for you to place your opposite hand that isn't wrapped around the cup on the floor below you if you can. And you might need to open your eyes just to make this happen and then close them down again. But make contact with the floor. Even if you're standing or you're on a bed, I want you to place your hand down and make contact with something. And in this contact, we give reverence to Pachamama, our Mother Earth, the dirt that we come from in this human form. We offer reverence to how she's always there to hold us, to keep us grounded. And no matter how many times we have broken her, stolen from her, taken too much, dishonored, disrespected, no matter how many times we have polluted or offered no cares to our Mother Earth, she is still there for us to hold and support us. And so now may we offer our thanks, our gratitude with our whole hearts. And I want you to really feel this, really evoke a sense of thankfulness in your body for how she gives to us so unconditionally. For how no matter how much we strip her bare, she still gives us fruits. She still feeds us, breathes us, gives us stable ground to walk from. And I want you to bring to mind a place that you hold really special in your heart that is in nature, removed from the human civilization that we know it to be. It might be a jungle or a beach. You might be under the sea. But just imagine yourself now really surrendering to her. Feel the weight of your body get a little bit heavier. And then bowing your chin toward your chest, offering this gratitude, this appreciation. That she always keeps coming back to love us. And if there is a prayer or something you'd like to offer to Pachamama now, just say that silently or even aloud, remembering that you're on mute so no one can hear you. Your appreciation, your gratitude. It might be a memory or a way that she has shown up for you. For me, I am so grateful that I can have my feet in the dust and remember everything that has come before me for millennia, that there is a greater picture so much bigger than just my tiny lifetime. She's always a reminder that I'm so a part of something much greater than what sits in between my temples. My inner world of self-obsession, living from ego, gets disrupted when I commune with her. And then bringing that hand back to your cup and taking a sip in reverence of Pachamama. And then taking that hand again and just raising it like you're about to high five someone. Opening the palm to face the screen, to face each other, as we now offer our appreciation to this middle world, to the physical, to the 3D. We give thanks for the elements, for each other. For isn't it all about connection? Being here in this human form, isn't it all about the relationships that we can have with one another? I want you now to bring to mind all of the people that you could invite into this space energetically that might need your prayer, your loving thoughts, your open heart. Call them in, whether it's a family member, some friends across the oceans. And then also bringing to mind and calling in all of the ancestors of past, all that walk beside you, rooting for you, cheerleading you, almost sensing how long that line behind you goes back to the beginning of it all. How you got here is a result of them. So let's pour our gratitude now into the elders, our families, the ancestors, our friends, our family who aren't blood. All of the people that we get to play and dance and laugh through this current lifetime with, knowing that we have been connected before somehow. And now, if you have a prayer or a few thoughts or words to speak to those people now, do so out loud or in your mind. For me, I feel immediately this tugging, pulsing feeling in my womb, that I literally carry the eggs inside of me, of my granddaughter, and that I am the cells of my grandmother, and how intricately connected we all are. And so I give my thanks. I give my heartfelt, deep, guttural thanks to all of the women who have come before me that have kept their magic secret, who have had to hide or stay quiet to stay safe, or the ones who have been rebellious and expressed in their truth anyway. I give my thanks and honor every single one of those women who have come before me to give me the opportunity to sit here in front of you and do this right now safely. To have a voice, to have a mission, a purpose, to not have to deal with so many of the injustices that they had to deal with. Now placing that hand over your heart, bringing all of that love back into yourself, your physical body. Breathing into her, feeling what it's like to really live inside this body. To melt your attention down from the mind into the heart, the belly, the womb, your hips, your soles of your feet. And just pouring your love now back into yourself. There is a term that they speak in the Andes called Aini, which means sacred reciprocity. Anything that you give out, you also receive. And so be reckless, without abandon, with how much love you offer here, with how grateful you can get, because it's all coming back to you. And then meeting your hand on your cup once again, taking a sip for the 3D, for this physical world, your body, your people, the ancestors. And then finally, raising that same hand all the way up high. This time the palm faces the sky. You might even like to look up, tilt your head back, keeping the eyes closed, and just with that arm up, feel this energetic shift of connecting and reaching out to something higher. And so here we offer our reverence and appreciation to the celestial ones, to everything outside of what we know for sure, everything outside of our 5 senses. We give thanks to the moon, the way that she pulls us, the way that she reminds us that us as women are a part of this big game. The way we move with her. We give our thanks to the sun, Taita Inti, for how relentless it is with its light. For how, because of that sun, it is the only reason we are all alive and breathing. May we look up at the night sky and remember that it is where we come from. May we feel the joy and the awe and wonder of all of life's unanswered questions and choose to live in the question rather than have all the answers. May we offer thanks now to all of the unseen mystery, all of the forces that orchestrate the magic that arrives in your life. And you know there has been magic. May we open now that sixth sense, that extra sensory faculty that we knew as a child, that perhaps we closed down because it got scary or it became unsafe or we were conditioned not to feel anymore. May we now ask for any guides or spirited support system, cosmic council to come in now. Whether you have a relationship with some sort of goddess or mythology, perhaps it's simply beings of light, whatever it is for you, trust what comes up without judgment. Calling them in now, invoking them to make themselves known for you as you feel this room, this virtual circle get a little bit bigger as you have Pachamama backing you, grounding you, holding you. You have all of your ancestors, elders, family, friends with you. And now above you, all of the guides, all of the ones that just beg for you to let them in, to support you, to give you clarity, insights, to speak to you through dreams and synchronicities. May you open up that space now to really see them and acknowledge them. And if you have a specific prayer or phrase that you would like to say to them now, maybe there is something you want to be so clear in your gratitude about, please speak that now. For me, I feel so in awe of how much there is to be discovered. Of how every time for a split second I convince myself I'm bored, I remember that there is infinity and beyond to dream about, think about, speak about, ask about. May I always live in a state of wonder and awe. And may I open myself now to receive crystal clear guidance. Once again, just dropping that hand, bringing it back to your cup, taking a sip in reverence for the cosmos, for infinity and beyond, for the solar system, the stars, the moon, the sun. And just resting your cup at the center of your heart space. Feeling a deeper sense of wholeness, of embodiment now. As the base of your spine and the soles of your feet are connected to the crown of your head, your third eye. And at the center of it all is the heart, the beat that you dance to. And once again, I just want you to get curious and navigate around your body like a scan. Just paying attention now to any cells within the parts of your body that might not feel optimal. Maybe you've got a little tension in your back or your jaw. Maybe you've got a sore shoulder or neck. Like an explorer taking a flashlight through a cave, I want you to totally check out your whole body, and wherever there are cells that are not functioning optimally, that might even be carrying stories of pain that aren't even yours. As you breathe, I want you to bring the light into those cells, waking them back up, bringing them to a sense of optimal vitality. And so to support this process, we're going to visualize at the core of the earth a giant ball of pulsating life force energy coming from Pachamama. You might like to give it a color, a texture, but you have a felt sense that it is below you, all the way down deep under the floor that you're sitting on, or the mattress, the carpet, down through the soil, the grass, the first layer of earth, every single layer until you get to the center. And as you reach that light, on an inhalation, you draw that light up into the base of the spine, like you're drinking through a straw. And so make that energetic connection now. In your mind's eye, visualize this beam of light connecting you to the center of the planet, like you're plugged in to a charging port. As if the sacrum, or the base of your spine, is the charging port on your iPhone. Just click yourself in. And without needing to think about it too much, trusting now that you are connected to that infinite resource of life force, and that it is going to wherever in your body you need it, regenerating, recalibrating, renewing. And then feeling above you in this paradoxical universe, another big ball of pulsating light, high up in the sky and beyond, out into the atmosphere, out, 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 up in the stars. There is this giant ball of source energy. And this one has a different color and a different texture. You can almost feel how non-human it is, how celestial and cosmic it is. And with an inhalation now, draw a channel, a pillar of light down to the crown of the head, drawing that in and feeling that connection made, like you've plugged in from the other side. And this light, while also regenerating any cells that need life force, is also making space to expand your nervous system, to make room for new equipment, for a new way. And you notice down this pillar of light, there's almost symbols or shards or glitter or fragments of light, filaments of light coming down into the crown of your head, entering your system, entering your body with these new frequencies, new codes. And so I leave it up to you now to ask for what you need, ask for what you want from Source. Perhaps it is expanding your nervous system to receive more abundance, more wealth, opulence, luxury. Maybe it is installing the operating system of ease and effortlessness. Maybe you'd like to call in unconditional love or a lighter way of being. Just asking, asking, asking with your whole body, not just from your head, not from your mind, but making a prayer with your full heart for what it is that you are ready to receive now. It might be clarity or focus. might be creativity. Perhaps you're calling in to have a child, or to birth a new project or product or service into the world. I ask you to not be generous with yourself. It's the opposite word of generous. Scabby. It's not very ceremonial. Be really generous with your prayer here. Source is unconditional. It's not judging if you're a good or a bad person, or if you've worked for it or not, or if you know enough. It's not judging you. So really be generous and ask for what you are ready to receive. And then releasing the visualization of both of these light sources, above and below, trusting that they are working for you without you even needing to think about them. That by setting this clear intention and giving these energies a place to go, a job to do, that they are serving you now. And taking a final sip of your cacao now with trust that you have received, that it is already done. Bringing the mug up to your third eye, the place that rests in between your brows, feeling the warmth there. As you open to a new vision of a new future, one created with new equipment, new intention, new frequencies and ways of being. Dropping now your mug just to rest on your lips, committing to knowing how powerful your words are, how powerful your language is in creating worlds, in birthing manifestations. And then bringing the cup to the heart center. Bowing the head. Taking a few deep breaths. Just waking up, maybe wriggling through the toes, tilting the head from side to side. Bringing a big old smile to the lips. And when you feel ready, just opening up your eyes. So feel free to just sip now whenever you feel called to. I didn't even realize I got teary then. That was weird. Anyone else? Good. I was at an event last week, and Erica Kramer, who is the Queen of Confidence, that's her brand, calls it salty liquid. And anytime that anyone started to cry, she would go, "Yes, salty liquid," in like this really intense way. So the person who's crying would be like, "Whoa, okay." So shout out to Erica, she's a babe. How are we feeling? I can see all of your faces and you look quite soft. So that's awesome. What I'd love to do now, what's the time? Cool, we've got 25 minutes. Is quickly speak to what I would love, or a dare that I would love to give you during this time, is to play in that space of what is that ideal future going to look like? I had this thought yesterday that it's really easy for us to get caught up right now in all of the ways that the world is breaking. And while that turns me on and excites me a lot, I know that that's not the case for a lot of people. I'm kind of sitting here just like, fuck yeah, systems are collapsing. But it's very uncertain, and that is very valid. it's a really scary time where it feels like the earth is cracking underneath us and we're kind of falling through. But what it's kind of offering to me is the truth bomb that time has always been an illusion, or energy, having our attention and energy has always been an illusion, or not prioritizing our health has always been there. Where we delegate our money has always been there. There's all this stuff that now we're only just realizing is lingering in our consciousness because we have the space and it's in our face at all times. I've spoken to Cass this week. I spoke to Mandy yesterday. I've spoke to my partner, to my parents, to another friend, and coronavirus is at the center of every single conversation. And I bet it's the same for you guys too, right? And so what an incredible opportunity to be having this conversation and jolted out of our old way, our old default conversation, and be speaking about something new. And so to me, while we also honor the fear that comes up, this is not a way of bypassing any anxiety or stress, fear of uncertainty, because that is all coming up, especially even just in the collective. I know for me right now, I don't personally feel any fear around getting sick, or, you know, my business is online, so I don't have to stay home from a job. I don't have kids to look after. I'm kind of on retreat now, and I feel very privileged to be that way. But I wake up in a panic almost every night, and I feel it in my body. And it's like when I sleep, I'm vulnerable to letting those energies seep into my body to be transmuted. And so I think those tools are where we get to practice now, right? Like emotional alchemy, all of the things that we do the yoga teacher trainings for, we go to the meditation training, or we learn all of these things. We read the books, we listen to the podcast. Now is the freaking time where we get to practice. Like, who are we actually embodying in this time of chaos? Because we are the lighthouses, I believe. If you're on this call, or, you know, I know some of you personally, like, you are who people are going to look to as to being the embodiment of this work that we teach, or we share about, or we write about. And are we going to take that responsibility to show that there is a more grounded way, that there is a way that is lit with grace and ease? And when the other stuff does come up, that we have an opportunity to turn toward it and acknowledge it, rather than suppress it and push it down like they have for generations. So I hope that you're all with me in that crusade. But before I open up for sharing, I just really want to offer this dare to play with what you want the world to look like during this time of collapse and destruction and confusion and space and wild unknown. What do you see the school systems being like for your children? What do you see the medical system functioning as for when you need it in an ideal world? These are things that I know for me, I don't think about much. I don't have kids, or I haven't been ill. So I don't think about the medical system, the healthcare system, the education system. But now I am. Now I'm like, oh, this is an opportunity to rewrite and recreate. What do I envision for my kids, for my health, for my grandmother being taken care of? Like, this is really a time where I think, to me, it's being shown that us individually have such a powerful input into the manifestation of the collective. And even if we think about like the conspiracy theory stuff, like how there's been a lot of, sorry to go there, everyone's like, oh God. But I was saying this, I think, to Mandy yesterday, like, if we all are buying into an idea with emotion attached and then we let it go, that's successful manifestation, right? So if we're like watching an episode of The Simpsons and something happens and we have a response, and there's millions of us having that response, then there's like this energetic signature that gets sent out to the world, right? Or if we're watching the news and it's like, whoa, fear, 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 hysteria, we have an emotional response, we send that out into the world, and off we go into life, right? We're all such powerful creators, and I think this is such a time to acknowledge that power in ourselves, and then how incredibly influential that is as a collective, because we all co-created this, right? For anybody that feels resistance to that statement, I invite you to sit with that later today, that we created this. I was thinking about how many times over the last few years I have said, and this sounds awful, I've said it in the privacy to my partner or to my friends in exhaustion, that I wish I got sick so that I could have a week off and no one would need anything from me. Who else has said, oh, I just can't wait for it's the weekend, or I can't wait till I get holidays and a break from work. I can't wait till I can just sit around and do nothing all day, because then no one will have expectations of me, right? These are deep feelings that we've had. And even if we don't speak them, we're sending out an energetic signature to co-create in this 3D world, right? So it's just something to think about. And I also have an ideal day visualization available for free on my website. If you don't have it yet, that's just a really awesome way to kind of tune into the future that we're then co-creating as a collective, rather than focusing on, holy shit, this is so unknown. I don't know what's going to happen to my business. I don't know what's going to happen with my kids. How long are they going to stay from school? Like, all that stuff, as I said, valid. But for 20 minutes a day, or an hour a day, or 5 minutes before bed, make a commitment to yourself as the lighthouse to be that energetic beacon for a future that is brighter and more beautiful and more in alignment with what you really know to be true. Can we do that? Yeah. So that visualization just walks you through, like, waking up and every part of your day to going to sleep, you know, how you move, what you spend your money on, who's in your life, what space you're in. And this is kind of where we can all start to think about, okay, these systems aren't working. I have less trust in them now. What do we want to rebuild as a collective? All right. I'll hand it over to someone now, though. Thank you for listening to that. I feel really excited about this. And I know that can sometimes come off. I feel like you guys will get it, but you know, if I'm speaking to my parents about this, they're kind of like, ugh. And I'm like, no, I'm fucking stoked. There's something so deep in my womb that is like, it's now. Fuck yeah, it's happening. It's now. Yeah. So activation and integration time, everybody. Take care of your sweet physical selves, but also know that you have connection to something bigger, and that you are so fucking powerful that you are co-creating something new. So I would love to hear from you. What's my question going to be? Actually, I trust you. Whatever you want to share, whether that's just a fear that you want to speak and purge and have alchemized in this circle, whether that is a dream or a vision that you have for what is being created, whatever. We've got 20 minutes. So yeah, does anybody want to go? You can just put your hand up if you want to speak. Cool. Awesome. All right. So we'll go Bree and then Lindsay. And just be mindful. Yeah, obviously we've got 20 minutes. I'd love to hear from a few of you, but just speak what's hot on your heart, love. Oh, sorry. I unmuted you again. There we go.
Sorry. So yeah, I just thank you so much for that. That was incredible. I really needed that. These are weird times. I find it like no coincidence that the Amazon was on fire for a long time, not too long ago, the lungs of the earth. And now we have a disease that affects our lungs. It feels very much like Mother Nature's trying to tell us something. And I'm with you. I'm so excited. Like, I feel there is something so much deeper under here waiting to be unearthed. And I wrote down what you said about we kind of manifested this, because for years I've been saying I would love to get my business to be remote. I would love it to be all online. I'd love to work from home. And so here I am, like, actually having to really do it. A hairdresser by trade, so I'm getting really creative on how to figure that out. But it's happening. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the symbology is wild. I hadn't thought about that either. And even just the word corona, like, translates to crown. That to me is just like, where did that come from? Who named it? Number one, I need to research that. But crown is literally like, I mean, Logan can speak to this. She's a yogi. Like that energy center. Can you tell us about it quickly, Logan? Do you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you want me to speak to, but that is our connection to everything, right? All that is and all that will be, all that was. And I think, yeah, I think it's incredibly aligned right now what's happening. And as you know, I just got back from Bali, and the energy that's going on there as well. And then you come back here, the land is literally speaking to us right now. The universe is speaking to us right now. And it's funny because I'll just quickly share, because I know that there's two that I wanted to share before, but I did a little connection reading before this. And this card is Find the Blessing in Your Current Situation. I pulled 2 days in a row before leaving Bali. And it came with spiritual law of attraction and also persistence. So everything that you just spoke about as you were saying it, I was just like, the message is coming through so loud and clear. And that is really how we receive the message, right? Is through the crown. So this, I strongly believe that this virus is the way that we're going to hear the message. Yeah.
Yeah, even the idea of like crowning through childbirth is like, that's where you're being birthed, right? Like, isn't that fucking cool that right now we are in a birthing process? Because for January and February, who was in a contraction? Did anyone else feel like January was like, oh my God? And then we're like, oh, okay. I kind of feel like that's what's happening. And through birth, obviously every expansion comes with a contraction, right? That is the way of Mother Nature. Instead of resisting that and fighting that, like that's where we need to surrender even more. So,
And then what comes after that? Liberation.
yes. Thank you, love. I appreciate that. Lindsay, what's hot on your heart, love? Hold on. I'm just going to unmute you. Yeah, there we go.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, piggybacking, I have been feeling more grounded than I ever have. And Emily, we talked last year, like I went through chaos the last 2 years. And this time, every day I'm smiling. Well, everybody, I feel it's hard to relate because everybody else, a lot of people are in fear or stressed, and I'm not. And it's been very interesting. So what I've been turning to a lot recently, I've been swimming in Mama Ocean. And I go without a wetsuit. And I literally asked her last week, just because I was by myself and I feel a very odd connection with her, how are you feeling? And then literally a couple days later, everything about this started coming out in the news. And if I could ask of anything, I do feel this is a big reset for how we are in our bodies and how we are impacting not only each other, the way people are interacting. Obviously that's changed quite a bit. We're very mindful of how because we know not to touch, not to get too close. It's like interacting with dogs at this point, but people are communicating in a very interesting way too. But also, especially like what we're saying with the planet, I see this as an opportunity for people to really, I'm hoping what comes out of this is people start looking at, where am I getting my food? You know, let's get away from the process. Where, you know, am I recognizing this meat I'm eating? Do I even know what animal it comes from? Just really being diligent in how we're consuming, how we're, you know, the store's putting up signs now with what we're buying. There's restrictions. I love it. I absolutely, that's what I started crying on when you started talking, is this is something I've been working for within myself. And I'm actually being called without payment, just people are needing leadership. Now is the time I'm actually stepping to help women with their anger, because they need it. They need the grounding. They need to, they want to recognize their anger and release it. And what a weird time to step in to something I've been afraid of for months now. So that's my share.
Because the filter's disappearing, right? It's like we have this awareness of time now. Like there's no time to fuck around. All those fears that we were carrying, all of those judgments and stories we had about hiding, we're crowning, we're being seen, right? Like there's no time anymore to not be doing what we are here to do. So thank you, Lindsay. That brings me so, like, I got goosebumps as soon as you said working with women. I'm like, whoa, that's you in your power. That's so fucking phenomenal, girl. Thank you. Cass, could I call on you if you feel comfortable? Just because I know you've been having lots of conversations around this. What are kind of the recurring themes or insights or clarity around this phase of time that you've received from those conversations?
Yeah, wow. So I've been doing kind of some podcast interviews, and one was with Emily around just the corona. And I think it's interesting because it's almost as if we're going through the Fool's Journey in the tarot deck, like really quickly and really in such a short time span. And so I experienced in the first couple of days, these conversations were fire and there was so much clarity. And, you know, it's all about this opportunity. Like there's this mirror this close to us, like Emily said, with the blind spots, that is giving us an opportunity to recognize where we've been out of alignment or where we haven't been, you know, pairing our actions with our words and our belief system. And it feels like, at least for where I am, I'm in California. So, you know, every vibration, you're there too? Amazing. Yeah, just there's different energies in different places, and there's different news, and that's impacting the energy of the people there. But it feels like a bit of a lull right now. Like it almost feels like life just feels a little bit normal in this weird way. And I'm catching myself right now trying to practice patience with my process. And last night having this big death around, you know, who am I and what I want to offer this world. And today giving myself the space to actually totally rewrite my foundation of what my offerings are. And I think I said this on the podcast with Emily, but I recently learned that caterpillars take in 300 times their body weight and butterflies just like pollinate and share. And so I am in the process right now of not like taking in 300 times my body weight on Instagram, all the videos and the news, because it's actually blocking my creative channel. And so where I am right now and the energy I'm embodying is like, how can I be my own butterfly and let this metamorphosis happen? And not feel like I need to know what I'm sharing tomorrow or like what I want to get out in this world tomorrow. So yeah, I think it's everything, right? We're practicing presence, and we're practicing patience, and we're practicing compassion, and we're practicing every single little thing that we preach out in the world. And now we're getting an opportunity to slow the fuck down and actually be it and be about it and become the energy frequency of that. And like, I'm literally sitting here playing my ukulele to a beat because I have so much energy, but I don't know what to do with it. I'm just like, yeah, talk. Da, 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 da. So if anyone wants to jam, like, let's start a song. So thank you for listening.
Oh, fuck, you're awesome. Thank you. Oh, man. Yeah, everybody needs to go listen to Conversations with Cass. No, is it Chats with Cass? Sorry. But the link is already out for ours, so I'll send that out in next week's newsletter. Oh, anybody else? You guys are so much more wise, so let's just keep it rolling. We've got a few more minutes. Natasha, that butterfly that you held up, that was so cool. Anyone else have anything that they want to share or speak to? Yeah? All right, let's go. Let's go, Natasha. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. Just through all those chats, I had goosebumps and like my heart was just racing, like, and I don't know if it's excitement or fear, because it's like what you were saying, like we know all of this, it's all inside of us. And it's like, for me, I think it is fear. It's scary to express it. And like, I'm getting a rash. This always happens. Like I have a block here. And so it's like, I'm really working on being able to voice all this truth. And yeah, I feel like the earth is mirroring back what we've been putting out in the world for so long. Mother Earth, she's just like, look at what you have all created, and it's just a mirror, and it shocks everyone, it jolts everyone. And I feel like we're moving from I to we. Like, that's what we all need, is to shift out of our ego and almost go back to community and village and wholeness. And yeah, for me, all of this is just really showing where I've been putting my energy and how I've been moving in the world. And I've just gone like, and I'm almost like, I'm on pause, I'm scared, I don't know, I'm just trying to be super more mindful and really noticing where my outness is going. And same with you, Emily, like, I've been waking up in the most horrible nightmares, and it's, yeah, I don't know, I feel the energetic collective heaviness. Like, I've had a headache, I've been crying, it's just a mess. And I'm in a perfectly safe place. I'm in a place where I'm not affected by any of this. I live remote, you know, in the bush, on the beach. My daughter and I, we're safe, we're healthy, we're stocked up. Like, I'm not personally experiencing this, but as a collective, I am. And yeah, I don't know, it's just all kind of magic in a way. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens and what comes from this. And I love connecting with like-minded people, and knowing that I'm not alone is really good. So thank you. I don't know if any of that made sense, but it was like, blah.
Totally. Thanks for being here. My dad apparently thinks it's the best time to mow now too, guys. I'm sorry if you can hear that really loudly. Thanks, Pa. Oh, the serenity. The tropics have been growing so quickly, so he mows the lawn every second day. It's super annoying. Okay, so does that sound okay for the next 2 minutes? Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Natasha. I adore seeing your face through this. Was so beautiful. It's so lovely to have new faces here. I really appreciate it. And yeah, there was about 40 of you registered, but I think the time change, I got quite a few messages. So I'm hoping we can continue having these larger circles and making them a bit more intimate and conversational, because that is just really fun. Okay, there's a chat box, because we won't be able to get around to everybody probably, because I know there's a few people that want to stay on mute. But if you want to use that chat box in Zoom, it's based at the bottom. You can just click it and it will open up. I would love everybody to just ground in for a second and think about what they need to give to themselves today. What is it that they need to give to themselves? What do you need? And really take your time here. Like, don't be afraid to take up space and to take a while and let that answer come to you, rather than frantically clinging on to something that maybe you've seen on Instagram. Let your body speak to you. And when you do have that thing, just simply type it in the chat box to virtually offer that prayer. If we were all standing around a fire, I would get you to speak it or to imbue it into a gum leaf or something, and we'd throw it in the fire. But this is what we're working with right now. So what do we need to give to ourselves today? And then your second question, once you've written that one out, is what do you need to tell the truth about today? This could be to yourself or an action to another, but what is a truth that you need to tell? We've got permission to thrive, acceptance, pleasure, kindness, nourishment, to give myself a voice, space, 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 space. The truth that we need to tell ourselves is around expression, having more to offer, being a leader, taking a break from consuming. Awesome. Keep them coming, guys. Thank you so much. So once we do set those declarations, they're done, right? I use this analogy in my coaching sometimes. If you've coached with me, you know that I like to go deep, but I like to go dirty. And I say that if we take a shit in the toilet, you might look at it for a second, but once it's flushed, you're not walking around the rest of the day thinking about it, right? Or you're not like worrying about like, where did it go? What was in that, right? So when we set an intention or we make a declaration, even before during Cacao, when we were like offering our thanks or even asking, praying, you don't then need to keep doing it. That causes stress in the system, right? So once you speak these, you don't need to then write about it, analyze it, unpack it, understand it. It's not an intellectual frequency we're working with here, right? So whatever it is, the truth that you need to tell and the thing you need to give, it's done. Set it free. And now just go about the rest of your day, being in your alignment, taking care of your sweet self. And I will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such an honor. I love all y'all. I wish we could have a real life retreat soon enough. All right. Love yous. And if there's anything you need, pop into Instagram. I have a week off next week, website design. So I'm really about creating content, audios. I might even be starting a podcast that dropped in yesterday. So if you have any ideas for videos you want, audio processes, please just message me. I'm here to serve. All right. Have an awesome day. Bye, guys.